talk about, what is natural selection?
Natural selection.
What is natural selection? I'll just answer it for you. Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, my understanding is it's just competing until the best possible.
Right. That basically the strong survive, right?
Right.
Okay. I seen a documentary when there was this goat. He was born albino. They chased that goat until it died. The other goats around it.
What's your name?
You know, so even of the science of natural selection, right? The weak will die out, right? That's just natural. Like when a hyena gives birth to its cubs, right? It gives birth to about 3 or 4 of them. They're automatically born fighting. One always dies. The weak one, that's nature's way of weeding out the weak, right?
Talk to me.
Okay, check this out. Do you know so-called white people are recessive, right? Blonde hair, blue eyes, and blonde hair, blue eyes, and pale skin. Those are all actually genetic deformities. They're recessive. But somehow, by some way, they managed to conquer the whole fucking earth when they only make up 0.02% of the population on earth. Because guess what? Everybody else on the planet has melanin. Everybody, the East Indian, the African, the Negro, even the Chinese and Japanese have melanin. But somehow, by science, but natural selection says what? The strong shall survive. A race of weak people, starting from Alexander the Great, managed to conquer the known earth and run the earth today. So you're telling me science did that? Oh, that wasn't. Somebody hold Job 9 and 24, please. Salat on Baba Kushab. Somebody hold that. Because it's that, if science is the way to go, explain that contradiction to me. 0.02% of the population managed to conquer the whole entire fucking earth. Huh? That's if you believe that Jesus perpetuates lies. Nah, that didn't come out my mouth.
Hey, come here.
Oh, Jesus.
I feel like you're
hold on one second. We're gonna get. I just wanted to. Job 9 and 3 acts as this is a prophecy, Yeah, Yahawashi definitely. Yeah, but I thought you was pointing at that picture when you said it. Oh, okay, all right. You got that Job 9 and 24? No, don't just go just yet. Yeah, Job 9 and 24, please.
Job 9 verse 24.
What's your name?
The earth was what?
Working the camera.
Given. It was what? Given. It was given
into the hand of the wicked.
All right.
Listen, dog.
He covered the faces of the judges right there. Just that's how he covered up the faces of the judges. What he do? He took all the prophets. Matter of fact, not even just the judges. They put their face on everybody in history.
What Genesis says.
Adam and Eve is white. Moses is white. Jesus is white. Abraham's white. That's how they covered up the faces of the judges.
After Adam.
That right there. But go ahead, keep going.
Scientific.
Given to the hand of the wicked,
right?
He covered the
Faces of the judges.
Listen to him.
If not, where who is he?
All right, but the point I brought out that scripture through the Spirit of the Lord is that the earth was given. So, based on natural selection, there's a contradiction there. Right. With that science. There's a contradiction there.
But how can you get to that concept? How can you get to that concept and make that solution with saying that everybody is white?
No, I didn't say everybody was white. What I'm saying is,
that's what you said, Jamal. You just said
I said everybody was white.
You just said everybody, Adam and Eve was white.
I didn't know. I said that they. I didn't say that. See, come on, man.
He said that's what they did.
That's what they did.
White man did.
No, correct. That's what you're saying.
Right.
So obviously he just said that that's what he did. So you're saying that everybody is white.
They're not.
No, I want to go ahead.
Adam and Eve are not white.
No, I'm not.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that
listen to me and stop thinking I'm
the
fucking
topic
drunk.
of the conversation is that this guy's trying to say that basically there's no God.
Oh no.
I'm showing him that it takes more faith to not believe in a God than it actually takes to believe in, because it leads them to only believe in just theories. So what I was doing, I was comparing a science called natural selection, where they say nature weeds out the weak. The weak is, whether it be weak genetically, whether that way what? Certain deformities don't exist, like AIDS, HIV, those things like that will finally weed itself out. Okay, but what I'm saying is that how did a race of weak people manage to take over the whole entire earth? Job 9 and 24 says the earth was given into their hands. So they got it because the God he doesn't believe in actually gave them dominion. Because even scientifically, that shows that you gotta talk. The Africans have melanoma, right? We don't suffer from melanoma. They do. Skin cancer. They burn up like vampires in the sun. They gotta wear the SPF 50. They overheat. Matter of fact, the levels of ammonia in their sperm actually poisons women. You see what I'm saying? How did they manage to conquer all the other melanated races? There's 18 nations of people on the planet Earth. They conquered 17 of those nations, and they're the weak ones. That took a heavenly divine power to do that. Why? Because the Most High gave every nation their rightful time to rule the earth. That's why when Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, when we inherit the kingdom, which is the kingdom forever and ever, none of the other nations could say they didn't get their fair go at it.
All right, this is Romans chapter 3.
I feel like
Romans chapter 3, verse 3.
your purpose is
For what if some did not believe?
what your message is saying.
Shall their unbelief make the faith of God without effect? God forbid, yea, let God be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged. So what we're saying to the world is supposed to sound crazy, man. It's supposed to sound impossible. It's supposed to sound like a fantasy. And it's the Lord's purpose for this to sound so far-fetched. Because when it happens, people are going to be shocked and amazed. The Lord loves a shock value, man. And the shock value is having the whole world believe that this is going to continue forever. And then in the last chapter, plot twist. Everybody loves a plot twist. Everybody loves to see the underdog win at the end of the movie. The Lord is creating the same situation. Nobody's counting on Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans having rulership on the planet Earth, especially in the condition they're in right now. Just look at World Star. But the Lord has prophesied that even in that condition, the Lord is still going to have mercy on this nation of people. So all the people that you see on World Star of our people acting a fool, being ignorant, destroying the reputation of our people, all of that happening is according to the curses that the Lord put on our nation. And the Lord is going to have a plot twist at the end of this movie. And the plot twist is that he's going to destroy this world, beginning with the American hegemon, because they have the biggest military. The Lord loves to bring up and strengthen pharaohs and other nations that he can show his own strength. That's why the Lord brought America up and allowed America to be strong. So once he brings his technology, it's going to pale, this place is going to pale in comparison to the creator of all things, man. Because contrary to popular belief, life in itself is not an accident. It didn't come from a single cell organism, and you look stupid believing that.
Oh, but hold on. Who gave the single celled organism life then? If that's the case.
Exactly.
Life can't come from nothing.
Exactly.
Let me ask you something. There's something I can't understand. Being gay, wrong, right?
Right?
It's a sin like everything else. It's a sin like everything else. Nah, man, this is how
He's speaking, bro. You can't cut him out. You cut him off.
I'm just saying, that's something I can't empathize with, bro. Like if you see someone that's gay, do you judge them?
I suppose, yeah.
We judge according to the
That's something I can't do. I agree with like the majority of like your message and all that. That's just something I can't do.
Are you gay?
And I'm gonna speak up because
The Lord judges them.
and that's a condemnation of if you look in the Bible, it will say it's a condemnation of society. We as a societal being think that is wrong, but that is a sin, like premarital sex. That is a sin.
You don't understand that.
Hey, you gotta.
It says it in Genesis.
Everything you say is in Genesis. Everything that you say is
That's the Ten Commandments. That's the commandments.
It is.
You know what?
Premarital sex is the Ten Commandments.
Yes.
So to answer what you're saying, Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So the Lord created all things, but set all of the trillions of cells in your body working in unison to have you walk around, go to sleep, wake up. The Lord created all of this. His thoughts are far above ours. So if he has proclaimed certain things as laws on the planet Earth, it's a user manual to how to conduct yourself on the planet Earth. So it's not according to how we feel about it, because we're on the planet, we see people, we deal with people, we have conversations with people, we get to know people, and then we start having emotional attachments and forgetting the way of the one that created everything.
How can two men be fruitful and multiply?
Exactly. The Lord placed man and woman on the earth for a reason, to procreate.
That's against nature.
They're designed to procreate.
They're just gay animals.
So do you feel
Now they're gay because of...
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you feel that that's right or wrong?
I don't feel like it's my place to judge.
No, but that's not what I'm asking. Do you feel that that is right?
And what's wrong? Like, what's in terms of
Is homosexuality, is that a good thing or bad? Is it right or wrong?
In a heterosexual context.
It depends what context you're asking. Because it's wrong in terms of
In terms of what?
And men and women procreating, like you need life to continue. I can't.
So how is it right then?
Yeah, what makes it right?
Yeah. Because you said you were torn between it.
Is pedophilia okay?
No, we're not gonna get into
No, I'm just saying.
because most homosexuals are pedophiles as well.
No,
right?
but
I
I'm
know why
just
you're
saying.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
How is it right?
It's right because you love who you love. So it's essentially, you're saying it's a disease.
So can I ask you a question? Why is it that most homosexuals got molested as children by a man?
Where would you read that?
When a lot of the homosexuals, when they get interviewed or go through psychiatrists, you find out that a lot of homosexuals actually were
What about
molested.
the ones who didn't?
That's a small few. You gotta also understand that the homosexual thing right now is an agenda being pushed. So you're not born gay. It's an agenda being pushed on you since you were a child. It's being pushed so hard now that children are 4 years old and they're allowed to pick if they want to be their gender.
But with the same logic, pedophilia should be allowed. Because if they're born that way, then what can exactly? See, that's the same logic. And I'm gonna say this: it's the same logic, because if you're saying you can't change a person, they're born that way, then why are you persecuting them?
If I'm not
somebody
Doesn't say they're born that way. It could change over time.
They're coming out. There are TED Talks about people and psychologists and scientists saying that pedophilia is a natural impulse, just like being gay is a natural
They
impulse.
can't control it.
That's not fair to compare.
They're saying they can't control it.
Is pedophilia right or wrong? Why? If someone loves a little kid,
He can't control who he
right? You
loves.
said love who you love. Right?
Exactly.
You said love who you want to love, right?
In terms of both parties being consent, like the little kid is ignorant. Like they don't. No, you can't consent to that. Come on, they're laughing, bro.
Listen, man, that shit is wrong.
But it's the same logic, and that's why you have a group like NAMA, the Men and Boy Lover Association, trying to group themselves with the LGBTQ community, because what they're saying is that them liking boys is just as natural, or them liking children is just as natural as being a homosexual.
You gotta say one thing. Can I say one thing?
Gross you out.
I want to say one thing. And what they say is that they're not hurting the child. They're saying if you're hurting the child, you're raping the child, that's one thing. If the child is consensual, it's okay. That's
Child
what
can't be consensual.
That's what they're saying though. I say it's wrong.
This is the same society that's saying that children can pick what gender they want to be. So do you agree with that?
No, that comes down to the parents choosing or letting them, or saying they can pick. You know what I mean?
So they're giving them the ability to consent on what their
All right,
gender
let me ask you a question. Children in today's society, do they spend more time with their teachers at school or their parents at home?
In today's society,
Your children today spend more time with teachers and authority figures rather than their parents anyway. So who's gonna put that impression on them? Obviously the teachers, but the teachers are being told that they can't call kids boys or girls anymore. What does that do to your kid? Now your kid goes home, Disney Channel is full of homosexuality now. When I was younger, I used to love watching Disney Channel. Now it's like it's homosexuals all in it, Disney Channel. It's their programming. And then they make you think that it's, you know, believe in the Most High.
So if you believe in the Most High, how can you feel that homosexuality is right?
you can't empathize with me because
No, I can't. I can't.
He's saying he's torn between the two.
Well, he doesn't believe in the Most High.
Exactly. The Most High said it's an abomination and they should get put to death, man. That's it. That's the Most High.
I got a scripture, man. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 29. Lo, this only have I found, that the Most High have made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions. And homosexuality is one of those inventions.
And it's a device, because the Lord created man and woman to be fruitful and multiply. The Lord said he created the world to be inhabited and enjoyed.
There were no gay animals back
It tells you that Sodom and Gomorrah, they were full of... There's gay animals now because of the chemicals.
Yeah, because of the
what chemicals?
Astracene, I think that's how you pronounce it. Atrazine or astracene.
From where?
It's a chemist made that chemical and turned frogs homosexual.
Just to go against the argument of homosexuality.
And then you have these situations where you take lions out of their habitation and you put them around another male lion, just like prisons.
Yeah, they tried.
And then you have this whole situation where they're out of their natural habitat and they're doing things that are unnatural.
Right, they try to say that use those two lions, saying, look, animals are gay. But what they don't tell you is that those two lions were in a cage together forever.
And they burn in heat. Because inside of every animal, and it's even in people, there's a desire to procreate. And it doesn't go away because you put an animal inside a cage with another male animal. That impulse is still there because in their makeup, they're designed to procreate.
And they have a clock in their internal makeup on the time. It's called it mating season, man.
Look at dogs. They just start humping stuff. They'll hump your leg. They can't help it. That's why you got to get them fixed. It's just naturally in there.
Hey, but listen, man. That Romans 3:3, man, just one more time. Because look, we at a point in time where the Most High is setting it up where it's about... Hey, can you hold Jeremiah 23:7 for me,
before I get that one, Romans chapter 1, verse 21. No, I started 20. Where's the wise? Where's the scribe? Where's the disputer of this world? Have not the Most High made foolish the wisdom of this world? For after that, in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not the Most High. It pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe.
Now, the reason why the wisdom of this world is foolish is because the Most High gave the earth into the hands of a foolish man. You know, at the same time, his foolishness is being esteemed as a potter's clay.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not, and that's what evolution and Darwinism. Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed me, he had no understanding.
Right, so Esau's foolishness is now esteemed. He turned things upside down. He took goodness and made it dark and made dark goodness. So when we're out here preaching the truth in YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, we looked at it and we're laughed at because the world is used to the foolishness being, I guess what you would say, the okay thing, the norm, you know? And matter of fact, the scripture says that Esau is the sword of the Lord. How does Esau promote this thing, man? Through this media, man, his education system. Indoctrinating the minds of our women so that they teaching their sons in a household where the mom is supposedly the mom and the dad. You know? So, go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
Right. And the rich are sitting in low place, right? And that's talking about Jake, man. We're the rich, right? Because we have the promises, we have the law. Ultimately, because we serve the living power, man. But we sit in a low place because the things, Esau's foolishness is esteemed as a potter's clay again. His philosophies and his ideas are held in high esteem. They're put on a pedestal and they're looked at as, this is what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, like homosexuality.
Like homosexuality, right? But when you go back into Romans 3:3, it says, what if some did not believe? Let every man be a liar and let the Most High be true. So we're going to come out and we're going to preach this word regardless of who doesn't like it or who doesn't believe, man. Because we're out here for the ones that will believe, man. You know? And the reason why we're doing this is, if you get that Jeremiah 23:7.
It says, Jeremiah 23:7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord.
This is going to happen.
That they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country.
That north country is talking about North America. Because how did we get, for the Lord to bring us out of it, we had to get brought here. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68. Which is what? The transatlantic slave trade. The Lord said he was going to bring us into slavery again on ships. We came over here by way of cargo slave ships, like it said in the Bible. Now we're waiting for the Lord to get us out of here, which is the second Exodus, man. So that's why we come out here preaching this word, man. Not only to get our bus tickets on that ride, also to wake up the elect, man, that's out here walking by. You know? That's why we don't care if some won't believe, man. Because it's just not meant for you to get it. The Lord already preordained who he wants to get this truth and who he wants to leave out, man.
33% is a lot.
Where did you get 33%?
See, the 33% you're talking about is the 1/3 of this nation.
Right.
Oh.
Right.
It's the
Not
1/3 of
33% of the world.
Not 33% of the world. So you gotta understand that. What's that? Zechariah 12, 13 and 8. 1/3 of this nation is going to be saved.
How many people are in the nation?
That's the sands of the sea.
Can't be measured nor numbered, man.
Can't be measured nor numbered. So it's still a big number.
Hey, one man
I
tried
heard
to do that, they
15%
got
of the
fucked.
world gets saved.
Well, really salvation goes back to the covenant and receiving the second covenant and being made perfect. But there are going to be people who survive the calamities that come on the planet Earth. And those nations are going to be taken and put into captivity because the Lord is a judge. He has to balance the scales. So has it been done to you, you know, it shall be done to them. We went into captivity. And when you go through the scriptures, the Babylonian captivity, Syria, the Greek captivity, all of the captivities the Israelites went through, they never put those people back into captivity. That put them in captivity. The Lord said that in the end days, after all this calamity happens and the world is set up with the Lord's order, He's going to establish His nation, and for 1,000 years, all the other nations are going to build up the kingdom of heaven. After 1,000 years, the ones you call Edomites, Esau, they're going to be taken out. And then the other nations are going to be put back in their land, and they're going to live under the governance of the scriptures. We out here every Saturday, man. So you pass by.
You guys again, 13 seconds.
I know you talking about.
You guys have a great night, okay?
You throw a lot of shit out there, though. But you know what? To the brother point, the precept the brother wanted. This is Romans chapter 3, verse 3. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? God forbid, yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged.
Yep. And that's why the salvation of the elect is going to be such a strange thing to these heathens, man. Because, you know, we were just explaining, you know, certain things like UFOs. You know, we was just explaining UFOs, and they were just grinning and laughing, man. But that's beautiful, because I know that through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, I'm good. Where's that smoke, right? Yeah, but through the spirit and power of the Lord, it's gonna happen. And you know, they always say, he that laughs last, laughs the hardest. So you can have that grin on your face now. But the scriptures tell us in Wisdom of Solomon 5 that our salvation is going to be strange, right? That's why I had this brother have. Can you read? Hold on one second. Can you read 23:7 from the top one more time, Bible Show?
To Jeremiah 23:7. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them. and they shall dwell in their own land.
Right, so it's no more going to be said about the Exodus that took place in the actual Egypt, man. This Egypt's Exodus is going to so far past that in magnitude. It's going to be that much more crazy that we ain't even going to be, scriptures are saying we ain't even going to be talking about the first Exodus, man, because this new one is going to blow it out of the water. But what makes it even more strange is that that second Exodus is only for the elect, man.
This is Habakkuk chapter 1, verse 5. Behold ye among the heathen, and regard and wonder marvelously, for I will work a work in your days, which ye will not believe, though it be told to you. So they're not supposed to believe, man. They're supposed to come to this, they're supposed to hear it, they're supposed to laugh, they're supposed to scoff, they're supposed to think in their mind this will never happen. Science trumps all. That's the mentality and spirit they're supposed to have. So when Wisdom of Solomon 5:1 start playing out, we have to have somebody on the other end of that. You have to have somebody being saved and somebody beholding the strangeness of the salvation.
That's crazy that you said that science trumps all. When you go into the etymology of the word trump, it means to deceive, man.
Yep.
Ooh. So that sentence in itself don't even make sense, that science trumps all. When you're saying that, you're really saying science deceives all. You know? So, hey, listen, bro, that Romans 3:3 is bad, man. Hey, the Most High.
You're going to second entrance. I'll grab that too. You got it.
Go ahead, 15 seconds. 15. Yeah, so that Romans 3:3, man. Hey, the Most High. Go ahead.
Oh, no, my bad.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. My bad.
It's Isaiah 16. Jeremiah 16:19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity and things wherein there is no profit.
And Darwinism, evolution, all of that is things that have no profit. Because when the Lord shows himself, the Lord said in Deuteronomy he was going to hide his face from the children of Israel, man. We say this all the time. If the Lord hid his face from his own people, you think you're going to find him? You think you're going to dig in your microscope or your telescope, fly out into the stars and find the Lord? No.
In Isaiah chapter 8, verse 17, and I will wait upon the Lord, Yahawah by Hashem Yahawashi, that hideth his face from the house of Jacob, and I will look for him.
Exactly. And I believe it's in Isaiah 45, it says, surely thou art a God that hideth himself, man. That's going to be declared in that day.
Isaiah 5:15 too.
I was gonna say, it says the elect have obtained it, but the rest of Israel not gonna get it because he hid it from them.
And this whole world has been blinded. They've been
Romans 11:7 is crazy.
A veil has been put over this whole world where they believe in Darwinism. They believe in all the things
Gross
Esau
darkness.
has pushed out. This is gross darkness. But when the light is revealed unto the whole world, they're gonna be like, oh man, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans on the corner were actually right.
And when you start putting these precepts together, it's beautiful how you realize this is really a movie.
Yep.
It's you're really in a movie, because you start to realize that, wait a minute, Yahawah is in control of both sides. You get what I'm saying? Because what did King David say? He said, protect me from the wicked, which is thy sword. Malachi 1 tells you who the wicked is. So that means that the Most High ordained Esau to put the darkness out here. So that means these Christians that are out here, the Most High put them out here to push that darkness, man. At the same time, put us right next to them to push the light. It's balance, man.
I got a precept. This is Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 13. But the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken. So when we go from this precept, from this part of the Bible to this part of the Bible, when we do all of that, it's meant to snare and break all of the people that are not of the hopeful elect, man. That's why the Lord said that. In the beginning of that, he said it should be read precept upon precept, line upon line. And then later down that chapter, you see he said he did that so that others fall backwards and be broken and snared. So what the brother brought out beautifully is that this is a treasure. And with the treasure, you have to have a map. And we got the map. And the map ain't meant for anybody to pick it up and know where the gold is. It's meant for you to have to go through the booby traps, right? the pirates, when they had a treasure, what they did, they set up booby traps. And if you got through that booby trap, that was another one. And if you got through that final booby trap, that was the treasure right there in your face.
You know what's like that too? The Riddler.
Right? Riddles.
These are riddles, man.
Right, dark sayings.
And if you can't get understanding of the riddles like the brother brought out, you ain't gonna make it to the treasure, man. But ultimately the Most High already knows who he has ordained to get the riddle, man. You know? To get that understanding, man. And that's why this is so beautiful that, you know, brothers could be are allowed to be in this truth, and we pray daily that the Lord take not that Holy Spirit from us, man.
I got
you know?
This is Psalm 78:2, and it says, I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. And what we're doing on the highways and hedges, we're uttering dark sayings of old, man. And we're actually going through the precepts and breaking them down, man.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing, man. This is a heritage of our forefathers, man. They wrote these secrets and these riddles down, so in the last days we will be comforted by the solving of these dark sayings, man. You got it, huh?
It's a quick one. Job 12:16. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his.
And that's Isaiah 29, verse 14. Therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, even a marvelous work, and they wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid.
And that's twofold, man, because in the coming days, Esau's wisdom and understanding is going to be taken away from him. And then the Lord took away our wisdom and understanding. Because in the time of ancient Israel, Jake was proud, man, because we were the sons of the Lord. We knew about a garden, we knew about herbs. Our nation as a nation, the knowledge that we had, just the knowledge that we had in our households, man, as a nation of people, was far more advanced. That's why Jake could go to any other land abroad and really get money, man.
Shit, we knew who we were.
Exactly. But we didn't have, well, the Lord said in Jeremiah 17:4, he was going to make us discontinue our heritage, man. So we got stripped down to the bones, the dry bones in Ezekiel. And now the Lord is putting it back on us properly, man. You know, through the Spirit.
Verse 15, it say, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who see us and who knoweth us.
And that goes into the Illuminati, man. The so-called illuminated ones on the left-hand side, man. Because they do all of these signs that they sneak in music videos, and they use all these, they got a certain way where they say certain English words where a person that's not involved in the business or in the dark cult won't understand what's being said. But if you are initiated, you understand and you get it. They got particular handshakes. All of that is going into them having their counsel in the dark, man. The Masonic lodges, man. Jay-Z and all of these high-level people of our people who know what's going on and just choose not to say nothing because they are rich. They get rich off our ignorance. The Lord said, woe unto them. That means destruction, man.
This is Job chapter 11, starting at verse 2. Should not the multitude of the words be answered? Should a man full of talk be justified? Should thy lies make men hold their peace? And when thou mockest, shall no man make thee ashamed? For thou hast said, my doctrine is pure, and I am clean in thine eyes. But oh, that Yahawah would speak and open his lips against thee, and that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is known. Therefore Yahawah exacteth of these less than thine iniquity deserveth. So the wisdom of the Most High is double, man. It's double, man. And people can't understand that, man. That's why Romans 11:7 says that Israel has not obtained what it seeketh for, but the election have obtained it and the rest were blinded, man. Man, these things are riddles, man. These things are dark sayings, you know?
And Jake went deep. Like Jake, that's why Jake fall into all of these strange women, which are these philosophies, man. Because Jake want to be super deep. When you throw a comedic dude in front of a camera and he tell you that 70,000 years ago such and such happened and we had the Atlantis and we was doing this, Jake loved to hear some super deep shit when the Lord said the simplicity of Yahawashi.
It ain't even really deep. They just get on camera using big words.
But Jake like that.
Yeah,
Jake like something that perceives to be, the rabbit hole goes even deeper. But really it goes back to Jake wanting to continue to be wicked and still seem deep and righteous in some way, form, or fashion without actually having to change his ways.
Verse 7. Canst thou by searching find out Yahawah? Canst thou find out the Almighty unto perfection? It is as high as heaven. What canst thou do? Deeper than hell. What canst thou know? The measure thereof is longer than the earth and broader than the sea. If he cut off and shut up or gather together, what can hinder him?
A lot of times, man, we have a concept of the Most High in our heads, and the Lord far exceeds the concept of who He is. He far exceeds that, man. You know, we really don't know. When they say you don't know who you're dealing with, we really don't know who we're dealing with, man. We got bits and pieces and things that the Lord told us to do until He gets back. But truly, the true strength of the Lord, there's no way for a man to know that, man. There's no way to really, in these vessels, there's no way for us to actually receive the understanding of YAHAWASHI, man. Which is why we must needs be changed, man. It's a reason we have. Because remember when the children of Israel wanted to speak to the Lord, they had to do what? They couldn't have sex with their woman for a few days. They had to do particular rituals before they could even come near to the Lord, man. So we have to be made clean before we can even come near to the Lord and learn of Him in plainly as Yahawashi said.
That's why He said He was going to sprinkle us with clean water.
We got to take a shower before we show up for the dinner party, man. Before you pull up to the wedding, you got to be clean.
Wow, that's why Ezekiel 9:4 says, go through the midst of Jerusalem and put a mark on those that sign that cry, man. That's heavy, man. That's heavy. That's how you know that the word is this word and the sprinkling of this Yahweh Shem Yahushua is that new blood, man. You know, that mark of exemption, the word mark in the Hebrew is tawah, which means mark from exemption or exemption from judgment, man. Now check this out. When we was in Egypt and we was doing the first Passover, we put the blood of the lamb on our doorposts on the sides and across the top. That was what at that time? That was the mark of exemption. But what's the mark of exemption now? It's the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the understanding and the wisdom.
It was a physical mark.
Yeah, that was the physical mark back then. Right. Now it's a spiritual mark. Right, but when it was a physical mark, that applied to every Israelite in all 12 tribes. But now going into the spiritual mark, the Most High knows ain't everybody gonna get it.
You gotta have that spiritual gift.
You gotta have that spiritual gift. Right. To understand. That's why the second Exodus is a few. It's for a few this time. It's not for all Israel, man. And then the other ones have to come back in their right mind in the kingdom. That's That's how I said. Like, the word was always here, man. It was just like you said. You got to change us. The Most High had to change us. It was already here. We just ain't understand it.
That show you how deep the Lord is, because He had already showed us how we were supposed to be, but the way He was bringing it and presenting it to us, it was just so far over our heads that the Lord had to break it down into little crumbs for us to actually start to receive some of the stuff that the Lord was trying to give us, because the law is really super advanced. But Jake was just checking off the marks. Really didn't go into the understanding of the deepness of the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments.
The scriptures say with all that get understanding.
Because the technology wasn't out here like it was. It wasn't out here in the ancient world like it is today, where they can say, "Oh, definitively, eating pork is detrimental to your health."
Can I say this, I tell people this all the time. A good role model, a negative role model in someone's life is really just as important as a positive role model. Because when you have that negative role model, you see what not to do and the repercussions of it, right? So when you look at Jake, right, the Most High set up 2/3 of our people to be a negative role model, man. and Esau. But Esau is made to be wicked. You get what I'm saying? Our people got the law, statutes, and commandments, and then started going off. You see what I'm saying? So really, truly, it was all, everything is made for the elect, man. For the elect to learn and grow. Yeah. That way they can be saved, man.
Brothers say this all the brothers say this all the time, that this world here today is an open classroom for the hopeful elect.
Yeah.
You got it, huh?
Yeah, it's an open classroom for the hopeful elect, man. You know, we get to see, the elect get to see what wicked is.
Right.
Then the elect also get to see what it is to be of the righteous seed, and what happens when you are wicked and you're of the righteous seed. You know? So it's a movie. It was all set up, man.
To back you up, like you said. It was there, precept upon precept, so it's there. Right. And the scriptures also said the things before time are written for our learning and understanding. Right. So like you said, everything is for learning, man, for edification.
Right. Everything is for learning, man. Because the Most High already had his elect ordained, man. They were already ordained from the beginning of time.
The final exam is coming nigh unto us, man. Right. Which is why the Lord is making his men hard, man. Through the furnace of affliction, because we think about it, we say the precepts, but Jacob's trouble is going to play out in the flesh, man. It's going to play out in your apartment complex. You never know where you're going to be at your job. When you walk in your day-to-day, you got to envision this whole thing going to shit. Because we say these precepts, and sometimes it's like, it's far off, it's over there. The Lord's going to play this thing out, man. And our faith is going to determine where we stand with YAHAWASHI. Ultimately, it's according to election. You know, but it's actually going to play out, and the Lord has given all of this that is written for aforetime for our learning, that we may be prepared for the biggest battle that Jacob is ever going to have to face, man. And only a few are going to actually go through that battle. That our temptation is going to be real, man. This whole society is going to be separated from you. Once you refuse to take the chip, you're not going to be able to identify yourself. You're not going to be able to purchase anything. And eventually, they're going to want your life, your head. Not to mention the purge or the persecution just for who you are. Just for what you believe and what you're standing up for, man. There's going to be a price to pay, and the men of the Lord are preparing themselves for war, man. We preparing ourselves for the battle. That's why we're not focused on getting a whole lot of women and wives in this world, man. Because we're on the battlefield right now, and it's starting out spiritual, but eventually this whole battle is going to play out on the planet, man. And it's going to be visible, man. And your faith and your works are going to be where you stand. It's going to show where you stand with YAHAWASHI. Because the Lord said in that day his servants are going to eat. How they going to eat without the chip? You got to have faith, man. But if you ain't got enough faith to get through this world as it is right now, you ain't gonna have enough faith to get through the time when the Lord put the spirit on you not to take the chip. But now you gotta live with the repercussions of that, man. And you gotta depend on the Lord to provide your meal, man.
Because there's gonna be wicked ass niggas out here that ain't gonna take the chip too. You know, we coming into a point in time where even like a lot of them, like we don't. I mean, you could take the chip, don't give a fuck, but there's gonna be wicked Jake out here that won't take the chip. Right. You know, that's one thing they might, you know, like my mother, for instance, she's a die-hard Christian, but she told me when I was a babe, when I was like coming up, she said the RFID chip is the mark of the beast, you know? But what's gonna happen after they don't take that chip? Like the brother said, they ain't gonna have no food to eat, no nothing. So what you gonna do then? I will still destroy your ass, man.
You gonna have men that on the first wave of the chip, nah, I ain't taking that shit. Yeah. They hard, they gangster. But then it's gonna the repercussions of not taking that chip is gonna start to chip away. That's why the Lord said, I'm gonna keep you from the hour of temptation. The spirit of the Lord is gonna have to keep you from that. The Lord is gonna have to put a spirit on you to keep you from the hour of temptation. Because it's gonna be real, man. You go into the Walgreens every day, or neighborhood Walmart, you get whatever you need, in and out, bing, bing. There's gonna be a time where you can't do that, man. And you don't know when the Lord gonna let up, man. You got it.
I just want to say this, and I was listening to one of the other elders of the camp. Niggas don't know how to fast. They don't know how to go without food. The first 30 minutes, they ask, they're gonna be eating on their own, like Jeremiah said.
That's why they're gonna take that chip ASAP. They're gonna take that chip first quarter. When they start cutting off stamps and requiring you to have that chip, for you to get your EBT amount on your chip,
Class 2 device.
they're gonna be in it. They're gonna be in for it. They're gonna be down for it.
Disability food stamp. They're gonna be the first one they're gonna hit.
For that zero nutritional value food, they're gonna give up. They're gonna give up and take that chip first quarter. Then you're gonna have some of the wave of the Christians that say that know that this is the mark of the beast. They're gonna resist that first.
That's why they don't understand that furnace of affliction is actually preparing you for that time.
Exactly.
It's actually preparation. Because, like, for instance, there was a show where they used to take rich white girls and take all their money from them and just let them survive. And they'll come back on the talk show like, oh my God, how do you... Hey, Jake been doing that shit. Jake been in a recession. So when the Lord puts you through these trials and these tribulations, man, it's just washing out those impurities out of you and making you find gold. You know what I'm saying? Brothers going through evictions, you know, broke, you know, things like that. But that's really what's an apartment and money gonna do for you during the time of Jacob's trouble?
Not a shit, not a.
But when you was already going through it before the time of Jacob's trouble, what's gonna happen? It's gonna be like, I'm used to this. You're gonna be that much. You're gonna have that edge, man. That's all it's doing is preparing you. Because we don't lay up our treasures here, man. We laying our treasures in the kingdom, man. And somebody got Hebrews 13 and 14.
Okay. This is Sirach chapter 33, verse 1. There shall no evil happen unto him that feareth the Lord, but in temptation, even again, he will deliver him.
And that requires faith, man. That's why your faith has to be built up with the furnace of affliction, like the brother was bringing out, man. Right. It must needs be built up, man. Because we've been in Babylon our entire life, man. We don't even know what real struggle's like, man. Third world country style trouble, man. That's why it must needs be that our faith is built up through this affliction, man. That's why we have to embrace it, man.
This is Sirach chapter 2, verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
Exactly. So it's not supposed to be easy for us, man. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be difficult. Because in that day, the Lord is going to prepare you. You're going to be hardened, and you're going to be ready for this hour of temptation, man.
Verse 4. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
So the furnace of adversity makes you an acceptable man. And I read earlier, hey,
all you talking about the Lord. That's all you did. Joshua, God. You know what? Your brother don't appreciate it. You know what? They hate you. Fuck them motherfuckers. Right. You gotta forgive them, pray for them. Right. You gotta pray for them, bro. They're lost, bro. They're lost, bro. Hey, you know what? All right? They was drugs and took me alcohol. All right, and took home. I came early, I said, throw away your prison. I love y'all. I'm going to jail for 4 years. Fuck you, motherfucker. I don't go, man. I almost got shot at that wood. I'm going to shot his foot. You know, you right there, I don't get killed. Had a gun, I shot motherfucker. You know what I mean? Everybody over here is got love. God said, love you to the Father.
Yeah, man. He come here damn near every week, and he say, "Fuck these motherfuckers, man." He said, the Lord wasn't no white man. Yeah, you know, and you gotta be spiritual when you out here laboring, man. You know, but back to the brother point. I did have a precept too to back up the furnace.
That's when he said that the furnace of affliction makes you an acceptable man. But then I read earlier that the sacrifice of a just man is acceptable unto the Most High, man. You see that? You see how it's just a revolving? Hey, man.
Because what did we do in the old world to our sacrifices? We had to burn them, right? What did Paul say? Present yourself as a what? As a living sacrifice. How are you doing that? How are you putting yourself on the altar and presenting yourself through the furnace of affliction? And during the affliction. This is Isaiah chapter 48, verse 10. Behold, I have refined thee but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. You got it.
What we talking about?
Isaiah 48:10. Behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction.
Right, the Most High didn't refine us with silver, man. He didn't give us things, man. He refined us with what? Adversity, man.
Bread of adversity.
Adversity, man.
He gave us these curses and this knowledge.
This knowledge.
Curses and
you know? Hey, when Yahawashai, hey, the apostles asked Yahawashai, will you now restore the kingdom to Israel? And he said it's nobody's time, it's nobody knows, man.
Right.
When not the angels, not him, only the Father. You know, that guy, you could imagine I walked with you for 3 years, I watched you do miracles. It's time.
Hey, I see you come back, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, we ready,
I got you.
Like
you know.
Right. I see him coming back in there all white, and he done defeated death.
But the Most High, but not right now. It ain't nobody know, but that's faith. Go ahead,
this is Luke chapter 21, verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth, distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for the fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, and then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Yeah, and it tell you that our salvation is nearer than we believe, man. And we hasten the day every day, man.
Read that part again, look up.
Hey, that's beautiful. Verse 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up.
Hold on. What things are coming to pass though?
All of that death.
What? Wait. Oh, go up one more. Go up one more verse.
And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon,
right?
And in the stars and upon the earth,
right?
Distress of nations.
Distress of nations.
With perplexity. The sea and the waves roaring.
Okay.
Men's hearts failing them
with fear, right?
for fear.
Okay.
And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth.
Which is what? Pestilence, death, tempest, which is storms. Yahawashai and the chariots. Go ahead.
For the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory.
So according to Joel, we going during the midst of World War III. Yahawashai is going to come with his chariots and the angels, because that's what he said he was going to plead for his heritage Israel, right? But during this time, simultaneously, you got the war going on. You got riots everywhere else, death and destruction and famine going on. But then it tells us to do what?
And when these things begin to come to pass,
right?
Then look up.
Oh, then do what?
Then look up.
So we're looking to where the chariots are at, right? The same chariots that's killing motherfuckers and other motherfuckers are running from, talking about this is an alien invasion. But he told us to do what?
Then look up.
Look up.
And lift up your heads.
Okay.
For your redemption draweth nigh.
Oh, that's powerful, man. That's powerful. That's why our salvation is going to be so fucking strange to the heathen, man. Because the same fucking chariots they're running from, the alien invasion, that's the salvation of Yashar Allah, man. Come on, man. Come on. That's like when people say, yo, you crazy, man. A building's on fire, but you running in there. You're like, what the fuck you doing? There's chariots in the sky. And but y'all looking up, talking about call Allah, Yahawah, Hashem, Yahawashai, huh? That's just gonna be strange to those motherfuckers, man. Fuck that shit, man. Yeah, that scripture is heavy, man. Come on. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Isaiah 26, verse 20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut the doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed.
Right. That's talking about a chariot, man.
Wait, Judah meant Negroes? That's what you said?
Yeah.
It says Judah Negro.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
I mean, Negroes are the real Jews.
Negroes are the Jews?
The real Jews.
What you mean? I don't understand.
The so-called Jews in the land of Israel?
Yeah.
They're Jewish.
You went to Israel. So the Negroes is Jewish?
She's scoffing.
It's all, hey,
She's scoffing.
She said she went to Israel and the Negroes weren't Jewish.
They're not the real Jews.
They're not the real Jews.
That's why they call it Jewish. Ishmael pertaining to us trying to be like real Jews.
Hey, the scripture says that the real Jews are going to go into slavery on cargo slave ships. Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verse 68, the Lord said he was going to bring Israel into slavery again with ships. Who'd that happen to? That prophecy doesn't, they don't fulfill that prophecy. We fulfill that prophecy. Our ancestors came over here on cargo slave ships. The Lord wasn't a white man, he was a black man and he was a Jew. That means his mother had to be black, his uncles, his brothers and sisters, his father, his cousins.
I know he had wool-like hair.
Yeah.
But Jesus wasn't black.
He was not, but who's the only people that have woolly hair? This sister right here has woolly hair. I've never. Her hair is woolly. That's good. There's nothing wrong. You say you Cuban?
I said it's Cuban. It's Cuban. It's Florida.
Right. Come here, look at this. Look. All right.
See you in the kingdom.
She run track and foot.
Yeah.
See you in the kingdom.
She got that athlete.
I mean like that. Hey man, I got a freak.
Hey man, that's why we gotta get up out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, you feel me?
It seemed like she was kind of scoffing though, but
she was.
I feel like
second time.
I kind of didn't get that spiel. That's second time. Oh,
This is Revelations. This is Revelations chapter 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither, and they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them.
Yeah, that's what he had.
Hey, the Most High. Hey, the same way YAHAWASHI left is the same way he's gonna return. But that's how the elect are gonna go up. They're gonna go up in those chariots the same way YAHAWASHI did when he rose from the dead, man. Gonna go up the same exact way. When we go up there, like the brother brought out in Isaiah, close the door behind you. Enter the chamber and close the door behind you. That's talking about when you get up into the chariots. Then it says to hide from what? The indignation, which is what? The thermonuclear destruction that's going to be happening on the earth. Mainly here in America. But you know, London's probably is going to get hit. Israel got to get hit. There's going to be a lot of other places getting hit. That's why the heathens are going to be working for 1,000 years, man. They're going to be clearing up the waste cities, man.
And the body.
The bodies, all of that. But it said hide, what? Until thy indignation be for what? Be over, man. And what happens after the indignation's over?
You're going to go hunt them damn Rothschilds. Right?
Con. Wait, go ahead, you got it.
For behold, the Lord cometh out of his place, punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood and shall no more cover her slain.
Right. So after the indignation's over, that's why John the Revelator seen what? He said he seen a new Jerusalem, man, descending out of heaven, having glory. You know what I'm saying? That new Jerusalem is talking about the same elect that went up in Revelation 11, man.
They tell you that the earth wasn't going to cover its slain, meaning that the dead bodies aren't going to be buried.
Yeah, they're going to be buried.
You ain't going to have time to bury nobody because you got to worry about yourself being a corpse.
Right.
And it's really going to play out, man. The world is going to find out how dangerous the Lord really is, man. Like right now, the Christians done rock the world asleep to believe that even if there is a God, He going to accept me either way I am. I can trick Him. I can just do whatever the fuck I want to. If I'm about to die, right before I'm about to die, you know, I'll say some peace ups. I'll
just say, whosoever call on the name of the Lord. So right before you die, just say, I love you, Jesus.
Hold on. And real talk, when I was a Christian as a little kid, I thought well, so shit, I could just wait and skate. I don't gotta be here right now. I can just pull out my get out of jail free card. Jesus.
John 3:6. For God loves the whole wide world that He sent. I said, you gonna butcher. Okay, we know you think the world means everybody, but you gonna add the whole wide world in there. Man, John 3:16 don't say God loved the whole wide world. Wow. I said, when he said that shit, I said, man,
whole wide world.
Man, I had a vision that the Lord struck him with lightning in front of us.
I let you know how mad they have to be to add the whole wide
just to justify the world being what? Talking about the oikonomeny. Come on, man.
But it's funny, man.
You just gotta laugh at it because the Most High put him out here, man, to spread the darkness, man. Hey, when Job's wife told Job, "Are you still gonna serve a God like this?" And Job said, "You think we're gonna receive the good and not receive the bad?" What he told her? He said, "Shut up. You sound like one of those other foolish women, man." That's what we gotta do to those philosophies, man, like Christianity, Buddhism, Islam. We gotta tell them strange and that, yo, shut up, man. I don't wanna hear that prosperity talk in my ear and that pillow talk, man. You know, I'm willing to accept the adversities of YAHAWASHI because I already know what it's for.
The Lord doing that.
It's the Lord doing it. And it's not because he hates us, it's because he loves us. You know?